Right, okay, hello. I'm going to do a bit of a user trip with my chosen product, which is a chain breaker for removing bike chains. What I've got here, this is the chain tool I've got. It's a Park Tool chain tool. It's a pretty reputable brand, to be honest. They make good equipment. I bought this because it was a cheap price, but I think I paid about 15 quid for it. And I bought it because I'd bought own brand chain tools like Halford chain tools before, and I found they break. They're not particularly well made, but Park Tool are reputable and they make decent tools. It's pretty heavyweight construction. It's more of an out and about chain tool. It's the sort of thing you take with you in a saddlebag if you have a problem on the road, rather than a more sort of workshop based chain tool. The reason for that is it's smaller. It's a bit more fiddly to use than a workshop chain tool, but it's a lot more portable. The workshop chain tools, I've detailed them in the logbook.
Danger zone.
They're a lot more expensive, but they're easier to use, what with them being bigger. Sort of two main parts to it, really. There's the handle and spinny bit here. This bit you see moving there is the pin. That's what pushes the pin out in the chain, and then there's the body. The three bits together, should combine to make this quite a usable piece of kit. Right, so I'll take you through what I use it for. I've got the bike on the stand ready, so let's have a look, yeah? Right. The bike's filthy, apologies for that. So, first thing you'd do is you'd see these little sort of pins and whatnot here. They go in the gaps on the chain. Right, that's the first thing that happens. Yeah, chain gives a bit. Because it's under the spring tension from the derailleur there, but you put that in there like that, and then you start to spin this like that. Okay. Now, it can take a bit of force to push this pin out. A longer body there and a longer handle here makes for more leverage, which makes it easier, but you do have to, there we go. You hear a snap and it comes out. Okay, you have to continue to spin this in. The pin's now, I don't know if you can see, the pin is in the little roller bit of the chain there, and the pin in the chain is actually being pushed out. Okay, once you get all the way, you can start to back it off. Alright, you wind it out, you can drop that out now, and then you can snap the chain in two. Right. I don't know if you can see that there. There's a little pin on the chain there. That's what holds it together, and it goes through that hole there. Now, this is something that happens. Now, everything starts to move. Your main chain ring here sort of moves back, and this all starts to dangle here because the tension's off this now. Now, you have to fight the chain back into place. So you might replace your chain, whatever. Might take a link out if it's caused a problem on the road, anything like that. Hundreds of reasons you might replace a chain. Now, replacing the chain is reasonably easy, but it can be quite fiddly. You end up having to feed the chain through certain bits. Now, the easiest way I find to do it, I don't know, let's see if I can get this bit further on. Might be a bit more visible. The chain's under a bit of tension now from the rear derailleur. You have to snap that link into place, and it should just about hold. Now, because it pushes the pin out that way, you can't just do it from the same place here. You've got to either turn it around that way and work that way, which you've got limited space to do. I mean, this sort of triangle here is sort of quite limited, but if you do it here, you've got the wheel in the way. If you do it up here, wheel in the way. There, if you do it by there, you've got the chain ring in the way. So it's pretty tricky to do, to be fair. The easiest way to do it is if you've got a work stand like this, which I don't have at home. I borrowed this. I'm actually in work at the moment using this. If you've got a work stand at home, it's easier because you can pop around this side and do it. Even then, it's still a bit restrictive. So I'd like something maybe that you could, I don't know, just use from one side of the bike rather than having to come around here. Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and do this left-handed now, which is certainly not my favourite way of doing it, because like most people I'm a right-handed person. So you have to spin it, the handle gets caught on the tyre, it's even more tricky, or even trickier, sorry, with the bigger chain tool there. But I don't know if you can see me working this here. Right, start to slowly wind it in. It's quite easy to wind in, it's easy to get it out. Right, tendency is for there to be a bit of a stiff link there now. That's what this little shelf by here is for. You wind it back out and you just put a little bit of pressure back that side, and that should remove that stiff link. That's a complete lie because I haven't done it far enough. See, if I haven't done it far enough I have to go back in and just push it in a little further. Should be about right. Yep, dead stiff link now. So now I just have to knock the pressure off with this side. Right, and that feels fine. And it looks reasonably good, it shouldn't snap. So, decent little tool, does the job, and for about 15 quid, you know, that's all it does. Handy out on the road if you have a problem. You can get quick links now, which alleviates some of that problem, but in a workshop situation I don't think something like this is ideal, even if you have a bigger handle and bigger what, because you still have to go around the other side of the bike to put the chain back on or fiddle like that. So what I may be thinking of is maybe have something that possibly one-handed, that you can operate from one side and it'll push the pin out, and operate from the same side and it'll push the pin back in. That might be something I could think about. I'm not entirely sure how to do it yet. I can see a list of problems with that already, such as the pin pushing in and staying in the chain so you can't separate it. I don't know. But I think we've got a basis of something to work with here. Other than that, I mean, for example, the materials are good. It's got a replaceable pin, so if you snap that, you can replace it. It's small, it's cheap. It's got a lot of good things going for it, and a couple of bad things. There's, you know, obviously considerations such as expense. Like this was a cheap one, but you can pay up to ridiculous amounts. I mean, you can pay over 100 quid for a workshop one of these. I'll detail all that in the logbook if I can. But thanks for having a watch. If you've got any comments or whatever, please feel free to let me know. I'm sure they'll be very helpful. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you very much. Thanks for listening. Good luck with you, TMA6.